Content warning. Flashing lights and images, fast-moving images and patterns, sudden or fast-changing colors, screen distortion/shaking, ableist language, discussions of death, depression, drugs, parental conflict, queer antagonism, suicide/suicide ideation, transmisogyny, trauma. This video contains spoilers for the game Mixtape. Solitude can be a weird contradiction of emotions. There's the initial time to decompress and relax from whatever situation one's in. Maybe one prefers to be alone most of the time from the security they get from it, but eventually longing creeps its way in. There's a need for friendly interaction, even if that feels like an impossibility at the moment. It's this tug and pull that drives the duration of Mixtape. In Mixtape, you play as an unnamed trans woman in a world of her own creation, a forest. Now, it isn't just any random forest, but one filled with objects that the protagonist has some connection to in one way or another. You're tasked with obtaining these various collectibles around the area, mirroring PS1 games not just in visuals, but gameplay style as well. Collectibles take the form of flowers, mixtapes that play actual Riot Grrrl music, letters to a long-distance friend, and more. These letters serve as the main through line early on. They discuss the player character's life, which ranges from discussions about relationships, transition, parental issues, suicide, among other things. It's interesting to see as you obtain more letters how this friendship blossoms despite their distance, and the ways they begin to open up to each other. There's a heavy personal bent to these letters in that they are partly written in Russian. For my attempts with Google Translate, the game is perfectly understandable without knowing what that text says, since what's important can be gleaned from context. A sense of warmth permeates through the protagonist's writing, contrasting heavily with the gloom of her current situation. The fantasy world she inhabits was one that had provided security and a form of escape, but no longer. She desires connection, something this place can't offer, and the area begins to feel limiting rather than freeing. The player mirrors her feelings as the collectibles begin to become few and far between. The play area that seems so vast and mysterious is all too familiar now. I scour every space multiple times to see if an object had been left behind, the last few letters being especially hard to find. It's a desperate search at this point. I don't want to spend any more time here. Eventually I find all the collectibles and I'm left to solve the puzzles. Things begin to pick up again as most of the puzzles, while difficult, are for the most part clear as to where they are. The forest regains some of its appeal as its familiarity guides me to the solutions. Momentum builds as you check off the puzzles one by one, barreling towards the conclusion, towards leaving this world, and I begin to have second thoughts. Maybe this place has its merits, and I begin to miss it. The Riot Grrrl music that was grating by the fifth listen had become enjoyable again. I mean, it's in this world for a reason. The protagonists love this music and used to listen to it all the time for comfort, and I couldn't help but relate. The letters you pick up are in the form of origami collages of many different intellectual properties, old and modern. The game starts and ends with a variety of what I assume are Russian TV shows and ads. The secret sound effect from Tomb Raider is used throughout the game. This multimedia construction feels both nostalgic and subversive. Like the world that contains them, there's a subtle acknowledgement that a lot of these things don't completely hold up anymore, but the love for them still remains. It uses all these properties without permission, their inclusion a big middle finger to copyright. It's almost transgressive, mixing and glitching them up for the game's own purposes, while still cherishing them. I try to soak it all in one more time. Leaving the world is for the best. The protagonist has seemed to outgrow the world for now, but that approaching end to my stay here reignited the fears that would put me in a much similar place. There's two ways to end the game, and I did both. I had left the world once only to come back again. Maybe I wondered if there was a happier ending, but either way ends with returning to the real world, to face the problems that can't be solved by a collectathon. Maybe I just wanted a little more time away from everything, some kind of comfort out of fear. But I had finished what needed to be done. It was time for her to leave and me to stop playing. So I did. Even though leaving was difficult, I left with the hope that when in solitude again, it'll be on better terms. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon or Ko-fi. Patreon is if you want to support me monthly, and Ko-fi is for one-time support. These videos wouldn't be possible without the generous support of my patrons and Ko-fis. Any amount helps this channel keep going. Anyways, here's my Twitter, my Instagram, my channel link if you want to subscribe, and some other videos I made. Well, that's all I had to say. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you around.